All right.
Sounds good. I'll let Mattia take the lead.
Fantastic. We are set and ready to go.
Okay. So today our Grants and Funding Committee members and Metro Art staff are joining by conference call. In a brief moment, we will call roll of all members present. This meeting will be recorded and posted within 48 hours to the Arts Commission page on the Nashville.gov website. Sorry, my phone went off. All votes will be made by roll call. All action items voted on today's meeting will be reconfirmed at the next in-person meeting of the committee. Public comments previously submitted will be read by Metro Arts staff member Grace Wright, who's also present, and she's also at the physical location where the public meeting notice directed members of the public to appear if they wish to comment today in the meeting. She will notify me if there are any comments in the public comment period, and those will be read in the record. I encourage all the participants to stay on mute and use the raise hand function if you'd like to speak. And if any commissioners are having technical difficulties with any of these functions, please, well, at this point, you probably are all here, so I think we're probably all good on that. But we will make sure that everybody is continuing to have, can hear and can speak if needed. So we'll go ahead and take the roll call. It looks like everybody's present, so I don't think we need to do a roll call. I don't guess should we have to answer verbally for the record, or do we need to do an official call?
We do need to do an official verbal call for the record.
Okay, great. All right, so if you guys can unmute when you speak, we'll need to do a verbal call. So I will go down the list. Sherry Busey.
I'm here.
Jackie Daniel.
Present.
Bonnie Dow.
Present.
Marilena Ramos.
Present.
All right, so we've got all of our commissioners here. I'll also have to call a motion since we're having this meeting virtually. I need to call for a motion that the meeting agenda constitutes essential business of this body, and meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans, considering the COVID-19 outbreak, and is permitted under the governor's executive order number 16. So I need someone to make this motion. I know that's a lot, but basically we're making the motion that it is essential that we meet electronically because of we have essential business, and it is necessary and is permitted under the governor's order number 16. So if somebody would raise your hand to make that motion. And the raise hand buttons is down there in the right corner. So if you look at the participant, I see Sherry's raised her hand. So we have a motion.
I move that motion to hold this electronic meeting per the advice of Metro Government, Davidson County.
Okay, great. We will need somebody to second the motion. You can if you raise your hand. All right, Bonnie seconded. Okay, great. Does anybody have any comments on this motion? Okay. So we have to do the roll call vote to make this motion. So we have a motion by Sherry and a second by Bonnie. Sherry, we need your vote on this motion.
I vote yes.
Okay. And I guess everybody has to vote, Bonnie. We need to vote on your motion. Okay. And Sherry, we need a vote from you as well.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. If I could ask you to say your name when you vote, just to make sure we're crossing all our T's and dotting all of our I's.
Okay, gotcha. So do we need to take the vote over?
If you don't mind.
Okay. All right. Bonnie, could you take the vote again?
This is Bonnie. Aye.
Great, thank you. Jackie?
Jackie Daniel, aye.
Great. Sherry?
Sherry Nichols Busey, aye.
Great. Mary Elena?
This is Mary Elena. Aye.
Great. Matia Powell, I vote aye as well. Okay. Janine, I think that is all the business that we need to take care of beforehand. So it's up to you for the FY20 update.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Next, Grace, may I have the next slide? Okay, great. So just to go over this agenda and what I'll be presenting, and we'll take this in various steps. I'm just going to share some of the highlights from the surveys that we gave to artists and organizations, update you on some of the things we're doing in regards to the closeout procedures that we could control, and then we're also going to have you all consider a request to reallocate some project funds for operating grants. Then we'll move on to the FY21 grants process and program updates. The biggest thing there will be finalizing the commissioner panel assignments. We'll discuss the programs and do restorative arts, Dial, Thrive, and talk about our June grants and funding committee meeting. So with that, may I have the next slide? Great. So to give you some of the updates from the survey, we had a pretty decent response, 63 arts organizations, 66 individual artists, and most organizations and individual artists stated that emergency funds were something that would be beneficial to them. In addition to procedural changes, we asked a question about what other things we could do for you. Some of the responses, some of the options were, food, childcare, mental health, and I believe convenings, things like that. And I believe mental health. Mental health was the top response, with 26% of organizations stating that would be a benefit for their staff and artists. We did a calculation over for individual artists for what their projected 8-week loss of income would be, and that was over $7,000. And for organizations, we found out that it's over $22 million for just 8 weeks. So that's pretty significant. Significant finding. Okay, so next slide. We also did some qualitative analysis of the narrative answers. Nothing too surprising here, but you can see what most of the people are, are concerned about or thinking about. These are the big themes. So, finances, just general uncertainty, the cancellations because of COVID, what sort of contingency plans are in place, the postponements of things, and not to forget, we also have dealt with a tornado. So these are all things that are churning within arts organizations and our artists in Nashville. Great, next slide. So I'm really proud of Metro Arts and happy to say that we were able to make some changes and respond quickly to some of the things that we heard from our grantees and artists. Within our control, we were able to initiate a 15% early drawdown of funds for all grantees. And then the process is that at closeout, when they're able to gather all those documents together, they'll receive their final 5% of funds. And I'm happy to say that many have reported to me, and that's always a good sign, that they've already received the money. So I would imagine that the folks that haven't directly checked in with me, I'm totally fine with them, because I think I hopefully would have heard if they had. It also, so I'm hearing people are getting well. So and that's a big shout out to Skylar and Ian for really facilitating that process and making it seamless for our grantees. So we're also being flexible where we can with adjusting or allowing for expenses within projects, to move to the virtual virtual format, and that those are. We're allowed to do that because the projects are, they keep within the initial intent of the grant category. And so, we have that capability. So we're doing that, and letting them know that that's what they should be doing. So in addition to these closeout procedures, you probably all know, we launched our Thrive, our additional Thrive funds. I'll give a brief update about that later. We've also been hosting many Zoom webinars and meetings about all sorts of subjects. Restorative Arts has been doing some great get-togethers. We've had kind of subject matter webinars. So we're trying to, again, just meet the needs of our grantees. And we made deadline extensions, which were, we were happy to do, and happy that you all approved that. So yeah, this is how we're moving and what we're doing. Okay, next slide. So in spite of all of these changes and accommodations that we've provided, you can imagine that national arts organizations are still feeling some serious challenges. So just from the survey, we know that moving from project funds to being able to redirect project funds to operating funds would be a benefit. And could I have the next slide? Okay, great. And then we also heard that relieving the matching fund requirement would be helpful. And we've also outside of our survey, we know that we've heard reports from different grantees that we're connected with that while some organizations submitted and have been approved of SBA loans, others have not. And I'm sure we've all kind of heard the news that funds have been spent. So they're paused on that for now. So we're hearing that some of our organizations that did put in applications have not been able to successfully get those funds. All right, next slide. So AFTA and other organizations, but I did pull this specifically from the Americans for the Arts, is suggesting the following for arts funders. So these are just some of their suggestions, and I wanted to just bring those up to all of you. So again, moving grant funds to general operating, removing matching grant requirements, extending deadlines for reports, extending deadlines for applications, moving money away from project grants to more operating funds, creating a fast-track COVID-19 stimulus grants, so like emergency funds on a rolling basis, removing restrictions on the number of grants a cultural organization can have within an institution. Again, super proud that we have done a few of these things, and would love to for you all to consider what else we can do. So with that, next slide, please. So staff requests the approval of an amendment to the FY20 guidelines and contracts that would allow grantees to reallocate unused project funds for operating expenses. Just to give you a little update, Caroline has checked in with legal, and we do know now the amendment process, and it would be similar to that of a contracting process. It would initiate with legal and go through various metro departments, and then would need final approval from the commission. So with that, I'd love to open it up to any questions that the committee has.
Before we do that, Grace, were there any public comments on this motion?
No, I received neither emailed comments nor is there anybody here for in-person comments.
Okay, thank
you.
So I guess now we can open it up to any comments, questions from committee members. Oh, I see. Sherry, I'm sorry. It looks like Sherry has a question.
Yes. Is there a timeline for this? Do we, for the deadline, and now we've kind of lifted the deadline? What is the timeline on the reallocation of these funds? Like, when are we going to be able to say, okay, that's enough time?
Well, I mean, this all is our like big deadline timeline is for closeout reports, which are due June 15th for all grantees, and so giving folks if this is approved, then getting it to commission, and then that would probably give them I guess a few weeks to if it's approved, then they would be able to turn in their closeout reports that shows that their project funds being spent for operating.
Okay, Janine, thank you. I just want to make sure everybody has enough time. If we give them a little more room to, get the money and reallocate the project funds, I think that's great. So thank you, Janine.
Looks like Mary Elena has a question as well.
I just really have a comment, if I may. I just wanted to commend everybody from the staff to working on this so quickly and so fast after the tornado, and then adjusting everything to COVID. I think you guys have done an excellent job in a very timely manner. So I just wanted to thank you for all of your hard work and making sure that our community is taken care of. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Are there any other clarifying questions or comments about this motion and this presentation in general? Okay, well, I would also like to commend the staff for moving so quickly and doing this work, and hopeful that this will be helpful to our grantees as they try to work within the challenges that we have right now in this moment. But if we don't have any more comments or questions, I would like to call for a motion. And if you raise your hand, you can raise your hand to call the motion. And again, the motion is on the presentation, but it's to request approval for the amendment to the FY20 guidelines. So can I get a motion? And I think we probably need to say our name, and then in addition to the motion. Okay. Wait. Marilyn, if you could speak and say your name, right? Or is that okay? Do we need to do that? I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure I have the rules.
No, you're doing absolutely great. So yeah, just anytime anyone talks, they should say their name, just so when people listen to it afterwards, they know exactly who's speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I can make a motion, I would like to request approval of amendment to FY20 guidelines and contracts that allow grantees to reallocate unused project funds for operating expense.
Great. Is there a second? We have a second from Sherry.
I second that. Sherry Nichols-Busey.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a vote, and I'm just going to go down. I'll just go down the roll list. Bonnie.
I was going to second the motion.
Oh, okay. We got a second already, so can you go ahead and vote?
I'm sorry. This is Bonnie. I vote yes.
Okay, great. Jackie.
This is Jackie Daniel. I vote yes.
Okay. Mary Elena.
Elena, I vote yes.
Sherry.
And this is Sherry. I vote yes.
And Mattia Powell votes yes as well. Okay, so that motion has been approved. Okay. Is that it? I think I printed this. I printed the notes out 2 or 3 times. I know we've got more. We've got more to talk about, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll continue on with PowerPoint. So now it's the FY21 process, and basically we just need to get names of commissioners attached to specific panels. And I just got a little message, about some availability, but I think we have to do that all out loud and in person. I think we'll just go one by one and say, so for the Thursday, May 1st, Metro Arts Access Grant Panel, is there anyone who knows that they're available to sign up for that grant panel? Times aren't listed. We're still making the exact agenda. They'll probably be, can you correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're going to stick to like a 9 a.m. to probably about a 1 p.m. With a break in between schedule. But that's basic. That's the basics. So it looks like Mary Elena has her hand up.
All right, I can make that.
Great. So May 1st would be. So Wednesday, May 6th, this is our Youth Arts Project support. And I see Sherry's hand is up.
This is Sherry, and I can make the Wednesday, May 6th. Do you need more people on Thursday, May 1st as well? Or just one
Nope,
commissioner?
just one commissioner per panel is all that is needed. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Janine, and I am available for Wednesday, May 6th.
Perfect. All right, Thursday, May 7th, this is our Creation Project support grant.
How do I do this? Oh, sorry for interrupting. I just don't know how to raise my hand.
There is a little palm and at the bottom, what is it, bottom right hand?
Yeah, I was looking for that and I don't see it.
It's next to like a little megaphone. Do you see the little megaphone?
No.
Jackie,
On your phone.
Pardon?
If you're on your phone, you might need to go to another screen.
I am not on my phone, and I actually see the megaphone where the names are. I'll just so I don't hold anyone up. I'll just unmute if I need to talk, but I'll take. I can take any of them. So if you just want to sign what somebody else can't, as long as I'm assuming they're all online now.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yes, they're all online.
Just put me, where somebody else doesn't want, and that's fine.
Grace, then should we assign Jackie Creation grant?
Okay.
Okay, great. Go ahead and do that. Excellent.
Wasn't that the one Mattia was just about to say she
is that
wanted?
is that right?
It doesn't matter. I'm about like you, Jackie. I can do pretty much any of these right now, so I can take the 8th.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mattia. And I believe that is the Catalyst support grant. That'll be, they're all going to be exciting this year, but that's the one that we had a lot of updates to the category. So, great. So let's move on to our basic operating support. May 12th, Tuesday, May 12th.
I'll do it.
Okay, great.
It looks like everyone needs to do 2, right?
People will, yes, we will need to do multiple now that we're doing basic this year. Thank you, Jackie, for that. Great. Excellent. So the May 12th basic is done, assigned. So May 13th basic.
I can do that. This is Mattia.
Okay. great. Tia will do that. And then last but not least, our May 14th for operating. I see Sherry's hands up.
Yeah, I'm happy to do the 14th. Janine, if no one else wants to do it, I can easily do that. Thank you.
Is anyone unassigned?
I don't think, yeah, we haven't heard from Bonnie.
Bonnie, are you available for the 14th?
Yes, I am available for the 14th.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So just to make sure we all have assignments, thank you so much. This was great. Very easy. We're all there. I'm going to review a bunch of grants. Excellent. All right. Moving on.
Okay.
With the restorative arts update. Okay, so great. So just to give you a brief update of the closeout, everything programs in JDC have of course ceased, but there have been a few virtual things that have happened, which were very experimental. Nicole has continued with Zoom artist think tanks, which have been really informative with the planning for FY21, and those have been, just part of they've all decided that was kind of part of the program work. So they're not able to do as much programming within JDC, but how we're engaging artists is allowing them to be part of these planning think tanks. We do have a couple organizations that were just basically were done by the time the stay-at-home orders happened. So global education and From the Heart we're done and are closing out now, and the rest are in good position to their final closeout. Definitely by June 15th and probably sooner. Okay, so with that, next slide. So so summer re-verification, talked about this a few months ago. So just to go over it again, and also to just give you the details now that we've made them, or that we're proposing them. So just to give context, so this is all, of course, dependent on budget that we still are unaware of, but we should receive soon, and of course dependent on access to JDC, so stay-at-home orders, all of that. We re-verify a handful of the organizations who are in good standing, that have completed everything successfully for summer programming from June 15th to July 24th, and are planning on receiving those very simple re-verification applications. We can get them as early as May 1st and May 15th. Then would make the announcements May 22nd. Nicole is planning on doing a summer training May 29th. And then once everything wraps, we would give them some lead time to turn in their final closeout reports by September 15th. Okay, next slide. So the action required here is staff requests approval of the summary verification process. And let's see, hold on. And I think I have to ask for any questions, and then I'll hand it back to the chair for guidance. Looks like Sherry has a question.
Yeah, I feel like an idiot asking this, but can you remind me what JDC?
Oh, of course. Sorry, we're all about the acronyms. It's the Juvenile Detention Center. So just as a little reminder, restorative arts are our arts programs within Juvenile Detention Center.
Got it. Thank you.
looks like there are no other hands, so I'll hand it back to Tia.
Great. Grace, before we move forward with the vote, are there any public comments on this motion, or is there anyone physically there to make a comment?
No on both counts. Thank you.
Okay, great. So we've already had but we've had time for clarifying questions. So at this point, we would like for someone to make the motion to make this motion to approve the summer re-verification process. Again, if you could just click on your hand and then say your name and then motion language. Bye.
Hi, this is Bonnie. I move that we approve the summary verification process.
Is there a second?
This is Jackie, and I second that.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to go down the roll for roll call for the vote. Bonnie?
Bonnie, no, I vote yes.
Jackie?
Jackie Daniel, I vote yes.
Mary Elena?
Mary Elena Ramos, I vote yes.
Sherry?
Sherry Nichols Busey, I vote yes.
Mattia Powell votes yes. Motion has been approved.
Great, thank you all.
All right. We're going to turn it over to Lauren. Is that correct?
We will actually can you get the next slide? We still
sorry.
have one more restorative arts.
Sorry, Paz.
No worries. I know. Yeah, I'm going back and forth between our little outline agenda and slides as well. So you all should have received the draft FY21 restorative arts guidelines. This is the timeline process. The updated timeline that we've identified that's within the guidelines. I'm just going to highlight a few of the major ones. So after this meeting, if everything, comments and suggestions, withstanding, we'll bring these to the commission, the full commission, during the commission meeting in May, for a full vote there. If all goes well, the application would open June 1st. Then we would, of course, see the applications, review eligibility. There would be a community expert panel, similar to what was done last year for restorative arts, by July 14th. Then we would the staff would work on the proposed award allocation, to be confirmed by Arts Commission during first by it would be confirmed by the Arts Commission during the July 2020 meeting. Then we would have programming anytime after August 17th. They could begin. Again, this is, with stay-at-home orders and all of that in mind, but this is our proposed timeline as of now. Next slide. And just to give some kind of general program highlights, as I mentioned earlier, Nicole has been hosting lots of Zoom meetings with artists and is deepening training. Luckily, we have someone who is just very experienced and well versed within program development and youth development and education. So, her training, we're really in good. Our artists and our program is in really good hands with Nicole. She's also she's working to standardize the artist fees across the program just to make it fair. and also it has created a much better relationship with the Juvenile Detention Center. And we're all starting to speak more of the same language and get on board with the same things we want out of the program, which is a really exciting thing to happen. All right, next slide. Okay, so I'll read the action, but also ask for if anyone has any questions. So the action we're asking, or where the action required today is that staff requests approval of the FY21 Restorative Arts process and also the FY21 Restorative Arts guidelines. Does anyone have any questions? See any hands raised, so I'm going to hand it back to Tia and Grace.
Great. Grace, were there any public comments on this motion, or is there anyone in public location to have a comment?
No on either count. Y'all are good to go.
Okay, great. So if I could have a motion to approve for staff request for approval for the restorative arts process and guidelines. And so just raise your hand, and then, of course, when you talk, please make sure you say your name and motion. Sherry?
This is Sherry. I'd like to make the motion that we approve restorative arts process for FY21 and the guidelines for FY21. I make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second? Okay, thank you. Somebody seconded. I thought I heard something. Mary Elena?
This is Mary Ellen. I second that motion.
Okay. We're going to take a roll call vote. So please just say your name and your vote. Bonnie?
Bonnie Dow, I vote yes.
Jackie?
Jackie Daniel, I vote yes.
Mary Elena?
This is Mary Elena Ramos. I vote yes.
Sherry?
This is Sherry Nichols Busey. I vote yes.
And then Mattia Powell, I vote yes. Okay. I think we're ready now to turn it over to Lauren, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi everyone, I am excited to give the DIAL program updates. Next slide. So we have been in conversation with our partners at AFTA, and we have reworked the program just a bit. So the in-person internships have been canceled. Nashville will pivot to support an online fellowship program based on real with supplemental technical skill workshops. Representatives from host sites and mentors will be invited to participate as guest speakers, and AFTA will pay the fellows directly, and there will be no Metro Arts financial involvement. Next slide. So now we have the Thrive updates. Next slide, please. So I'm going to actually allow Janine to give this update, just because she's been helping to manage this part of it, and then I will jump back in for FY20.
Great, sounds good. Thanks, Lauren. So just to give a really brief update of the exciting April 2020 Thrive updates, we have already funded 16 projects. 24 applications were received. Not all projects were funded, but all of the unfunded projects were given notes and recommendations and invited to resubmit. However, we have already funded over $35,000 of the $50,000 pool. So we probably have about I would imagine just one more week of review. Depending on the applications we received this week, and then that money will be spent. But they are all really exciting projects, and Emily has been gathering all of the links to join various Zoom meetings. It's pretty diverse offerings, improv, writing, theater, music, dance, visual arts. So it's all really great stuff, and I encourage you all to check it out. So with that, I'll give it back to Lauren.
Awesome. So, picture to the right, I forgot to put the caption. This is Shannon. What is Shannon? I forgot Shannon's last name. It's not Sanders. That's the guy over at a radio station. But he did the drum workshop at the Room in the Inn, and so this is from his workshop there, and his last name will come to me, I'm sure. So I just wanted to provide a update around Thrive and where we are with the fiscal year. So 6 projects have closed out, and 11 projects have shifted their projects to serve the community virtually, and they will be closed out by June 15th. One project was unable to shift, and that was the Edge Hill Community Performing Arts Intensive and Public Art Installation that Rebecca Alexander was awarded $9,500 to implement. She was not able to reshift that project, and so she has returned her award, and that $9,500 is reallocated to the April Thrive funding pool. So those are the updates for Thrive FY20. So for FY21, we are looking to really engage and gear up with getting the guidelines and the processes approved by you all very soon. We will update committees in June with staff recommendations for program updates. We're taking a strategic pause to determine the most effective strategy to move on in light of the pandemic and the changing of order in our society. So based on review and evaluation of previous year's impact, we'll be developing the guidelines to reflect that, and then based on staff's capacity and other agency deadlines, and the FY21 budget that has yet to be released.
Okay. I was going to say, Janine, I think it's back to you.
Back to me. Okay, so this one's pretty simple. We are going to just decide on when it's best to meet up for the June Grants Committee. I think that's it. Next slide. I think we're just going to hear from, since we're all gathered here, we're going to just determine the date that works best. And I think that have we decided on is the June regular full commission meeting, Grace? Is that set?
Yeah, so we're at this point, we're trying to get back on track with our every third Thursday. So knock on wood, for the moment, we are planning on having a 2-hour meeting on the third Thursday of June.
Great.
And I can pull up that date.
Excellent. So that would be the 18th. So if we could meet basically those first 2 weeks of June, that would be excellent.
So I have the 11th on my calendar. I think it was a previously determined meeting date. Does that still work for everybody? I guess if you could raise your hand through the raise hand option. If not, if it doesn't work, then we can determine another date. Would that be okay, Janine?
Yeah, that's great.
So I think our invitation is on June the 11th, and it looks like it's from 11 to 1, right?
Yes. Yep.
So could you all raise your hands if that still works for you? It looks like it only works for one person, so.
It works for me. I can't.
Okay.
I still don't know how to know.
I'm sorry, I don't think you actually need me for that meeting, right? I mean, I think I can make it, but I don't think I'm needed, right?
This is Caroline. Yeah, Mary Elena, you're ex officio on the committee, so you're not actually required.
Okay. Jackie, is this okay for you?
Yeah, at this point, everything is. So just whoever else has more of a life than me can make the decision.
Okay. So I think it looks like it works for everybody.
Great. So we'll just stick to the regularly scheduled program.
Awesome. Hey, I have a quick question before we end. Janine, you mentioned the list of all of the, and they may have already happened, of all of the Thrive April grantee events that were happening virtually. Where can we find that list?
So far. I believe it should be on our blog. Emily shared a draft with us. So that should be there, and I can get the link and send it to all of you.
Okay, great. Thank you. I mean, I don't have anything else to do, so. Look at the stuff.
Well, you could work on your writing. You could do some improv. A little sketching class.
Yeah.
You can write some songs.
There you go. So many things.
So many things. Well, I think that was the last bit of business that we needed to take care of. So, unless there's anything else, does anybody have anything else?
Not me.
Okay, well.
I just wanted to say everybody stay safe, and I miss seeing all of your faces, but stay safe.
You too.
Good meeting y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
You.
Thank you.